Well, we didn't have a real successful shed hunting season this year, but we did find one matching set, and we got a lot of videotape of that deer, and I found that on the 20th of January. I just set that camera up on that tree right there. Right there's my gear. That's no more than 20 yards away from that tree. I was walking up here. And you remember I said on the onset I wasn't really looking for antlers, which I ain't. But lo and behold, look what's laying right there in front of us. A match set. Unbelievable. And them babies are fresh, 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 fresh. Look at that. I mean, that bird there. There they are right there. That's all right. You found them right along with me. Just laying there perfect. Got a little stick over this one. They say they look like they've been laying there for a while. That's the first human hand that touched that, and you touched it right along with me. So that brand new, bud. I mean, that is awesome. Well, at least we know he made it through the onslaught. Sort of a weird looking dude, but it's a matched pair, and it's about 26 matched pairs now that I've found. And thank you, Lord. Now that's a find for the day. Things to be doing instead of sitting around the house. And I didn't come out here to look for these sheds, but look at that. Fresh sheds, brand white. All right, the first set of the year. They were right along that power plant. Only like 10 yards, and they were right in here out of the power plant. Dropped them both right there. He may have bedded there. What a find, what a find. And you found them right along with me. So what we're going to do today is we're going to put that on a mount. And in the past, I've used old buck skulls that I found that the bucks had shed their antlers, and I found them, you know, in several different situations along the roadside or in the, looking for mushrooms. And today I want to mount this on this mountain Mike skull. I done one last year and come out pretty good. So we'll get these antlers mounted onto this, and they come with two different skull plates, and this will be mounted on the large one. So like I say, they do have, if you find a matching set of a small one, you can do it with a small one, but these are the right size to fit on here. Now, what we have to do, the first thing we have to do is we have to buff this burr part off. I don't really like doing that because I just soon leave that on there because that's a natural shed. But to fit this skull plate, it'll have to be buffed off, or it'll sit up there like that. And I want it to look as natural as it can. So we're going to buff that off and take some time and fit that in there really nice. So sit back and watch us proceed, and we'll get this buffed off to where it fits at. You want to keep checking that, you don't want to take too much off. If you see that coming down there tighter, and we'll get it down there a little more nice flat surface. That's the same circumference to that. It's going to fit right down there in there. That's what we're looking for. That's just a little bit more. Now it's buffed off really nice and perpendicular. And you're looking for it to get that real nice fit right there. And that fit really nice right there. And we'll do the other one the same way. You have to take all that burr material, skull material off of there. Because if you don't, it won't fit down there right. It's nice about having one of these little grinders. That's fairly soft material, so it comes off really quick. Still got a little too much on there. That's off. As you can see, well, that's this side. It's a little confusing. It fits down there really nice. We'll take a little more off. Call it good. Set up there pretty good. Now that we got them ground down, the next step is to drill the hole and get it centered up in here so that when it comes down on there, it fits really nice. Okay, this next step is pretty critical. You want to pay attention when you're doing that. You've got to get that skull plate down on that antler, get it squared up to where you want it and centered up. And then you can take a magic marker and go down through that hole and you can leave a mark on there. And you pull that off, you're going to have your index mark right there. It's going to take a 3/16 drill bit to go down in there, and you want to go about, they say, 1 3/4 inches, at least 1.5 inches. Now they supply these screws with the set. So you want to take that 3/16 hole and go approximately 1.5 inches to 1 3/4 inches. 1 3/4 inches is what they suggest. When you're drilling that hole for this screw, you want to make sure you don't tip this one way or the other and end up drilling a hole outside the antler. So you want to make sure you do this by hand, that you go right up through there and keep checking yourself. 1 3/4 inches is what you want to go. So we'll get the drill going here and go down and insert. But it's real critical that you don't tip this one way or the other and drill outside the side of the antler. So you want to make sure you're really going right down the center of it. It's pretty soft material, goes pretty good, but you want to make sure you keep it going in there. That's a good 1 3/4 inches right there. Okay, remember, now you got to do the other side, which is looking from behind the deer. This would be the left side. You don't want to put that in. You need a third hand. That's why you have to have that vise, or you could have somebody else help you. But if you don't want to tighten it up too tight. Just get it centered up there in the center of that as good as you can. Go down through there, get your mark made. There's your mark. Now we'll take it over to the drill press and drill a hole down through there. Okay, now that we got those holes drilled, time to mount it on there. Yeah, you may want to use a bar of soap and get some soap on that threads, because that gets pretty tight going up that into that antler, and you don't want it to be loose, but it will help you when you screw it in there. It'll lubricate that thread and make it somewhat easier as it goes in. Just make sure you got the right antler matched to the right side. If you have a power screwdriver, that's even better. But and you notice that goes in there fairly tight, but it'll go on up in there. And it got a lot of screw you have to put in there. Like I say, if you had a power screwdriver, that would make that part a little bit easier. But you want it to fit really tight down through there though. And so far what we've created is a half rack. But if you notice how nice that fits around there, that's what you're looking for when you buff that down. The more integrity and the more time you take to match that up, the better it's going to look and more realistic at the end. Well, that got it cinched down. Now, it's always debatable, but that's pretty close to what the inside spread on that deer would have been. And you know, you don't want to get crazy. If you got your deer on a photo cam video, you can, what we got here for the spread on the inside spread of this guy, which is realistic. There's 13, 14, 15, right at what we got there? One more time. Up there. Okay, realistically we got 13, 14, 15, and 6/8 inside spread. And that's about what that deer was. You know, you can notice the brow tines are both pointing straight up, and you can critique that just a little by turning that. And basically, you got it on there so far. Now we'll go ahead and mount it onto the rest of the skull. Now all that we got to do is attach this bottom portion of the skull to the skull plate with the 2 screws that are in the kit. And that's like anything else. It takes a little time to get these pieces put together. Don't want to get in too big a hurry. A little bit of fitting here. Get that one started. Come around on the other side. Oop, gotta get that started in that hole. There we go. Now we're going to bring it down, right on down. Bring them both down uniformly so you don't have it cockeyed on there. It's raining out this morning, and a lot of guys are out turkey hunting, and some of them are having success, but some of them are having a wet morning. And this is something that you could do on a Sunday morning, and I don't think we have it half an hour in this total. You've watched it pretty much live time, and we're going to show you from the time the deer was carrying the rack to the day I found him. And ladies and gentlemen, basically there's your European skull mount of the deer that we filmed all year. Now there's some cracks right here Okay, you take this little tube of filler and you go down that seam. And you want to just get a little bit of filler in that crack right there. Yeah. There we go. And that, just follow that down and around in that crack. It'll dry out real nice. Fill that up. I'm doing it fairly hurriedly. Might use your finger just to smooth it in there a little bit better. Make sure you got it all covered. And if I had a little crack up around the burr, so I'm going to put a little up in here too, just to get rid of that black line right in there. That fills that up. That filled out, and it dries. Actually today it's going to dry a little slower, a little humid out. Well, we'll take it in the house, let it dry more natural. But that'll keep it a really nice deal. Now you notice that black crack. We've got a little bit right there. We'll take that clear out to the nostrils. It's only enough to do one, so you might as well use it all. And it really goes in there really nice. But get rid of that black line real nice. It sort of does its own leveling out. Well, we got a little line up here too. I better fill that in. Yeah, there's only so much putty in there, so you don't want to waste any. There is enough, though, to fill in the crack. There's no doubt about that. But you don't want to waste any either. Okay, there we go. Sets up fairly fast. Goes right down in there. There you have it. Brought it back to life. Take it down to the cabin, put it on the wall. These here come with a mount. It's got a little tang on it right there. That'll fit right up in there like that. Bolt it to the wall, and there you go. That probably didn't take us a half an hour to bring back a trophy. So, that's it from the Non-Typical Shop. Another project done together. Thanks for watching. Putting a bracket up here on the wall. Pretty simple. This bracket's adjustable, so you can kick it in and out, raise the head or lower the head at a different angle once you get it in there. Get that up there. Now, if I measured that right, which I hope I did, get that there, and there you go. Tighten that up. Made that a lot stiffer. That camera right there is to keep the honest people honest. And 24-hour surveillance. There, top. So that sits right in there. It'll sit right in there. Get that all lined up. So there you go. Mountain Mike's skull. 2 shed antlers, matching set. Made a heck of a trophy. All these sheds that you see were found on this property no more than 100 yards from the cabin. This was an original skull, a shed buck skull that we did on video. This was a shed buck skull. This was a shed buck skull. This was a Mountain Mike product. You've seen that particular deer live on January 1st, I believe, in 2000. I'm going to say 12. I think it was in 2012, January 1. And you pan over here, and you've seen this buck alive several times this year on the property. And what makes that really unique is those are valuable trophies to me because to find matching sets like that and all on this property, that's pretty awesome. And to find matching sets is sort of hard to find, but when you find that many, there's 5 matching sets that were found, like I say, within 100 yards of the cabin. So that is it from the non-typical Norwalkian. Wish you the best in shed hunting. Sometimes it doesn't go as planned, but you know, each time out is a new episode, and just keep a good mindset and don't let other people's success bother your drive. Just congratulate them on theirs, and you keep your mind in the game. So that's it. Non-typical Norwalkian. Have a good day. Mountain Mike.